Hello friends. Today we want to create a mood image for our product. As you know, we are selling these kind of desk mats in our shop, and I want to use or create a mood image where I have like a natural environment, like a regular desktop or something like that. It's not the best, I would say, style, but it's pretty good to just show you how to do it. So I want to add our desk mat here in here. It has to look like it is a very natural shot. So if it was made with a photo, with a camera, a real shot. That's my goal for this. So I have to crop out all the elements here, place the mat, change the perspective, add new shadows and stuff. So that's what we will discover here and how we can do it. In a previous video I was showing you how to create this new file. The new file here has the size 1500 and it's a square image with 72 bit depth. So I would create this for Amazon and for Shopify. So that will be our mood image, and I imported the image here, and yeah, that's basically the whole idea behind this. Let me just try to find the other image. Just a second. So here we got it. I want to add this image again to the file. Let me just drag and drop it. So the difference is, as you can see, this image was already scaled down, and by scaling down you lose all the informations of the image that you have, all the bit, all the depth, all the pixels. When you scale it down, it will remain scaled down. What I will do, I just imported it again, and to have the full resolution, as you can see, it looks different now. It's because it's the full size of the image, of the actual image from this. Now I imported it, so by dragging it into the file, now I make a right click and I say please convert it to a smart object. So now I have a smart object. That's what I basically can delete because I don't need it anymore. Now I enter the Apple key and T to transform the file. I click on Apple and minus to just reduce the window size, to just see everything that I can attach to this. Now I hold the shift key, and when I'm holding the shift key while I'm holding the options key, I can scale it to the center position, which is different when I'm not holding the option key. I can only scale to one side. So when I'm holding the option key, I can scale to the center. It's just a little shortcuts that we can use to make our life a bit easier. So let's say I want to do something like that, so that this could look, I'm not sure if I want to have this little corner here. I think I will try to delete this. So when you are scaling it to the direction and you don't want to have the scale point to be like in the top left and the top right at this time, you can hold the option key, and then you have this little dot here, and you can place it wherever you want. You can actually say I want to have this, let's say here. So, and when you then go and scale it, it will always focus on this point. You can see the difference, right? So this makes a lot of sense in some in some situations. Let's say you want to have this as a fixed point because that's important for you, let's say. So you can just click on here, and whatever you're now doing, it will scale. I mean, I'm holding the Shift and Option key while clicking and dragging the file, so you see what there is as, so you can, it's just helpful to just see how the scale should be. So now I'm looking at some details. For instance, one important detail is to have, let's say, the Apple icon here is something that is not nice when you just see it like this. Also, when you create some images for your product, it is the best to just not show the Apple logo and stuff like that, because it can cause some problems that you want to avoid at the first place. So I think that this is kind of a good positioning of the, so I have no disturbing things, it's calm, there's no edge here, no corner. I think it looks good. So that's the first thing I would do. I would position the image that I want to work with. So the next thing I would do, I would create some elements here. These 3 elements has to be in a separate layer, and I show you how to do it right now. So the first thing I would do, I have to decide where I want to crop this out. So I have created a smart object. So the smart object is basically telling me that when I'm double clicking on it, I will have all the information of the original image preserved in here. So basically, when I'm changing everything that I do right now here, this will automatically affect the file on this side. So let me just, so now I have forgotten something, but it's very good to just show you what actually is important to just know. As I said, I made a smart object, which is an image inside of an image. So now I can work with this layer here, and when I'm double clicking on it, it will open up a PSB file, and inside of the PSB file there is my new Photoshop file, I would say, where I can add whatever I want. So when I say I want to crop this out here and I save it, then everything will be deleted. What I forgot is when I duplicate this file here, because I want to have this element as well, and another one I want to have this element as well, I cannot do it anymore, because basically I created a smart object which, even when I'm duplicating it, it will still be the same smart object, as you see. So whatever I'm doing right now will always lead me to this one PSB file. So the thing that I have to do first is I have to do this all again, make the copies, and create separate smart objects out of each copy, and then I have this separately as I want this to be at the first place. So I go back. Let me just go back until the point where I'm so that's the position that I want. Now you can see this is still an image, it's not a smart object. So the first thing that I want to do is create some copies. So I will need a background, and I will need 3 different layers. So that's what I would do. I would start with this. So now the most important thing is that we have to convert all of them into smart objects, and I'm just doing it right now. So now I have 4 different smart objects from the same image. Now I will, the best would be to just hold the Shift key, mark all of them, and work with all of them combined. I'm holding the transform key and do the same thing that I did before. So let's find out how this was. It was something like that. Let me see if that's good. So now, as you can see, I have created the exact same images. So it's not different. They are all the same, on the same position in the same scale. So that's very helpful at the moment. So now I can say, the last one is my background. I'm just renaming it. I put it at the back. This file I could delete again. So this is my background. I can, yeah. So the first thing I want to do, so I want to make sure that the background is there. So I want to start with the first one, which is the mouse. So I will rename the file, this element here. Now I'm double clicking on it, so I have the full size, and now I zoom in with Apple and plus, and I will really zoom in as much as possible. And now I can show you, I would say, a lot of different ways how to just do the crop out. So I will show you. You can click on the path creator tool here. You have to click on form, and then you have to delete or let's say deactivate the colors of the area here that you are cropping out. So basically that means you create a form which has the path of this element here, but it's not filled with color. So now I'm just zooming in, and I start somewhere like this. With the space key I can hold the image. I can change the tool to just navigate my file a bit better. If you want to do it in a much smoother way, you can buy a pencil for this, and you will end up having even more freedom to just work with Photoshop. But I also like working with the mouse and just adding details. So the closer you zoom in, the bigger the image is, the closer you can zoom in, the better the result will be. So when you have, let's say, a very small image downloaded from the internet and then you upload it, you will realize that when you zoom in, like I did, you will have some problems to just see where you have to crop out, and the end result will be different, like when you have, let's say, the biggest image. So I always look for bigger images. The bigger the better, and then you can work in much more detail. So I'm just doing it quickly here. You can spend much more time making it perfect. And just a second. I'm just about to finish. So as you can see, we arrived at our starting point, and when I'm hovering over it, you will see a circle at the right side. So that means when I'm clicking here, our form will be ready to go. So I click here. So now we have created a new layer which is named form 1. So that's what I wanted. So I can go and zoom out here, and when I'm using this this tool here, I get this result. So I get a form. Now I'm going to copy the form. I go to this area and to this layer here, and I'm just pasting it. So I was here, all the elements have been selected. I was just doing up Apple and C copy, and I was moving to this, and then I was pasting it here. So that's all there is done. So you can see what has happened here now. You can see, oh, there are some elements a bit more dark. So in order to see this better, because it's very hard to see it here, I would do the following. I would create a new layer. So, and I want to fill this layer with let me just find the right color. So now I can use a very challenging color to just that you really see what the problem is. Yeah, you can see nothing right now, so the color was very wrongly chosen. Let me see how we can, it has to be more light. Okay. We just want to make sure that we can make it visible in some way. So I think here you can see a lot. So it's just the color that we have picked. So now the main benefit of this technique is you can change the path that you have created. So you actually have created a form, you copied the shape of it, you added the shape as a mask by just copy and paste. Now the mask is the shape. Actually, you don't need this and you don't need this. This is the only thing that you will end up needing. So now I created a layer to just see what we have done here. Now I zoom in, and now you see we have to delete this here. How we do this? We click on this one, and we click on the layer and on the shape here, just to make it visible. Now when we use this element here, all the elements will be selected, so we have to just use the other one, the white one. So now we can click on this, and you see all the other elements will disappear. Now we can move this around, as you can see, and we can just do it like this. We can correct the outcome a bit to just make all the dark elements disappear. And you can see the more details we have, the bigger the size of the image is, the original, the better the end result will be. So I just created this yellow background to just be able to see where the image is a bit, let's say, I don't know, not so nice. And let's assume then you can click on enter, you will see that there are still elements here you can just reduce or remove, but for now I think it's not so yeah, you can see here there's a lot of stuff going on, but it's okay for now. So now I deactivate this and I have this kind of end result. So what am I doing? Now I'm saving this. Just click on Apple and S to save, and go to your file, and you can see this image has changed. So basically you have it exactly there, and yeah, that's what we wanted. So the next thing would be we crop out this one and this one. So let's start with this. We name it keyboard, and we name this one Mac, iMac. So So now we have basically done everything. You cannot see the difference because it is overlapping. So what we want to do now is we want to create a desktop that looks like there's nothing on it. So that's the next thing that we want to do. So I'm double clicking on the background, and there are multiple ways how to do it. And nowadays with AI there are a lot of tools available to just make it somehow possible to just delete all of it. So now I'm in the Smart Object. I duplicate the original just for me to have something that is basically the original, so I can go back when I'm, let's say, screwing something up. I can always go back and I have the original copy in here and I don't have to worry. So now I can try little different things. So one thing I would do is I would try out a lot of different approaches. One approach would be to just let's say I just mark this, so I have a selection created now. The area is selected, and here is the first AI tool that is, I've never worked with this actually. Let me see what he just offers. So okay, you can just filling. That's the regular way how I did it. So you can say, please paste a content that is based on what you can see. So let me just try it out. Okay, that's what Photoshop did. I think it's pretty good. I mean, you can see some kind of elements here that are probably a bit they look like that's somehow, I don't know, problematic, but I think that's okay. So I mean, I think it's not needed to just go into the detail and to make it more efficient. And also that one, we can leave it like this because we have created a separate layer that will go over our original. So basically it's not needed to just remove these elements, but I just wanted to show you how this will look like. So now I can show you how it looks like when we go back and implement our elements here. So that will help us now to just find a good starting point. So what we want to do as well is, as you can see, the shadow has been removed, and when you look at the original image here, we had to just crop out the real edge of the item because we could not crop out the shadow, because that would look problematic. Then we always would have the shadow on the desk, on the wooden desk, that we would see everywhere. So whatever we put underneath these elements here, we would just see. So we had to cut out the real edge, and then we have to add our own shadow. That's what we have to do here. So in order to do that, I would do the following. Let's zoom in. Let's say the mouse. What I sometimes do is there are a lot of different ways how I can approach this. So I would create a separate layer underneath the mouse. I will go in, use a pencil, and basically draw it. So when you make a right click, you can adjust the size. So you will have you will have it a bit bigger. It depends on what you are doing. So that is the size. That is the strongness of the shape you are creating. That is here also at the top. Very important. How intense it is. So how the pressure will be. So now you can just add something, but you can see we have selected a blue color, which is what we don't want. I want to have this black. So I'm creating a shadow here by myself now. As you can see, it looks like the distance is very high. So you have to really work on this if you want to do it by your own. So you really have to find a way how you can handle this. So now I'm doing it a bit bigger. I'm going in here. I'm just trying it out. So that's one part. And I do it a bit smaller. So usually the darker part will be much smaller. So I like to do it in that way because it could look very natural. So as you can see, we are approaching something that would look like a real shadow, and you can turn it on and off, and you can say it has to be a bit more smoother. And what also you can do, you can copy again. You can make a rasterize. Where is it? There is it. You can say you can overlay everything. Just try something out. So that's basically a black shape. When I'm going in here, so I make a shape out of it, and then I can say filter. I can make it a bit more smooth. So then now I have something very black, which I also can use in a way that maybe it will create some kind of natural edge. But you can play around a bit with whatsoever. Yeah. You can say that you can move this around. You can just say, look, you can just bring it up a bit. So now you have like a shadow coming from the top left, top right, and you can scale it more down so that you have like this. You can put it underneath your layer that you have created before, and you can just try to mimic something very natural then you can just say I want to group this, and I name it shadow mouse. So to remain organized, you can turn it on and off, and that's basically how you can adjust. So now we have created something that is somehow similar to what is here. Here it looks different because it's kind of merged into the desk, but that's okay for now. It does not need to look exactly the same, because when you have never see this, when you never know what the original image was and you just see this, you would not guess that this is wrong. So you just have to create something that is realistic. And now let me find the original image of our desk mat, and we have to place it there. So let me just find it. Okay, I found the image. So I created this a couple of weeks ago. So let me find something that we can use. Let's say we want to use this one here, the felt material. So we have the actual image, and the actual image is put into a folder, and the folder has a vector crop out that we just created at the beginning. It's the same. So, but you also can put this on a folder, as you can see. So now we want to drag this one here, the exact same thing as we go on the folder, because I want to have everything, also the crop out, which is representing this shape form here. And yeah, we go on this and we just drag it to our image. So we put it here and we see how it lands. Now you can see it is on the right position layer wise. So now we can just move it around. And now we have to do the following. We have to create a new perspective, we have to turn it around, and we have to place it in the right way. So how am I doing this? So the best way now to work with this is, I would always do a smart object out of it, because I have everything now created inside of this smart object in case I want to I want to change something. So now I'm holding the Apple and T key, so the transformation mode, and you can see what happens here at the corner. It shows you what will happen, and you can just move it around. You can change the radius or the degree. So the first thing I want to do, I want to line this alongside with the desk, so that it has to be, so that it looks kind of in a good way, so exactly aligned. So now I'm moving this where I want this to be. Let's say I want to have this right here, and now you can see that the perspective is not looking right. You can see it because this line is not aligning with this. So now you have to match the perspective. So I go in here and I say you can choose different things. So you can say perspective, which means it will create a new perspective. So I'm using this one and match this one here, and now I see that I have created something that is also not very in the perspective. So I have to just move this a bit around and see how can I find something that is even better. So maybe the perspective tool is not really helping me, so I can say I can do it by myself, just how I think this would land in a good way. So now I have this line here matched, this line is matched, and this line is somehow matched. So it looks much better now. And when I'm positioning the desk mat, it would look good enough, I would say. So basically, still something is wrong. I cannot tell you. Let me see why it is wrong. That's what is wrong, because you can see the keyboard is not aligned with the desk, so you can it creates the illusion that the desk mat is not at the right position. So when we delete that, it will look better. And yeah, we are able to correct this actually. So that's our way, that's our possibility right now. If we want to correct this, we could correct this so that we don't create any kind of false illusions. So like this. And as you can see, the shadow looks different now because you cannot see it. So you can really work differently right now. You can go here and you create a bigger experience like this. So now it would look different and much better. And you are almost done with the product. You can decide if this area here should be more filled. Like I go in here, I say transform, I make it proportionally bigger just to see how this would look like. Let's say if it's like this, could work. That we say, look, it has to be somehow like this. If we want this to be like this, yeah, it could be good enough. So that's basically what we have done so far. We can do now the same thing with the keyboard. We have to create a proper shadow. You can see it almost looks like we don't need one, but it will look different and better. The shadow goes here as well. And we can do it in the same way as we did here. So basically that's it. What we can do now is, that's the good part of working with smart objects. Now I can go in here. I can see that, oh, I have used this one. Now I go to my file and let me see how this would look like with maybe a forest. Let's use this. We drag this to our oh, I forgot to just, you can see I forgot to add the crop out. So let's go back. So I have to take the entire thing here in order to get everything that I want. Now I can place it in the right position in my smart object. So now I can just say save, and you can see how it changes, how this would look with a different image. So that's how we can create now different kind of feelings or images for our products, and would always look good. So we have to check if the shadow is still working on each background, and yeah, that's how you can do it. So I see that there's some problem with the perspective still. I can sense that there's something wrong. Probably, but whatever you do, whatever you do, you can just, maybe it's something like this. Maybe this looks better. I don't know. It wasn't aligned the right way. So that's how I would do it. How I would create images and how to position a new image inside of it, how I work with layers, how we can, you can see that here also a shadow has to be placed. So that's what I would do. Also, I can show you the final result. I'll link it in the description. You can see it at our product page. And yeah, I think that's good for this video. We covered all the elements, and yeah, if you have any questions, please write them below and I will answer. And also send you the link to where you find more.